Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and in today's episode I'm going to be showing you the Mad Professor Golden Cello. So the Golden Cello is another amp-in-a-box aimed pedal. It's designed to give the sounds of those high-gain British amps. I think it's generally voiced to be around the kind of high-watt kind of sound, but obviously your guitars are going to change that and the amp that it's going into will change that quite a bit. But it's got a lot of grunt and it gets a little bit fuzzy, so it takes on the higher gain sound of the overdrive spectrum and pushes us into that saturated amp sound. So I'm going to show you some settings I've done with a loop just to run through the gain range, and then a few lead sounds that you can make with the built-in delay as well. So let's have a look. So just running a quick chord loop through, I've got it in its low gain setting. So just on that edge of slow kind of guitar attack where it's not being hit too hard. The tone control's a little bit high because of the bass response, but as the gain goes up, that'll be less apparent. So hitting that 9 o'clock point, the saturation is pretty full. Dial it up a little. So it's pretty crunchy, even just at 10 o'clock there. Compared to that low gain sound, there's a lot of movement just in that kind of 7 to 10 range. So working around that range, you get some good low gain sounds, and then pushing up into the higher, it's going to get very saturated. You hear that bass compression hitting the signal as well. All the way through the crank. Our tone control gets us from a pretty abrasive attack sound right through to a pretty muddy kind of sound there. Depending on your gain range, I think is going to change where that tone control becomes really useful. It's pretty dark in this bottom end here, but once you get over about that 12 to 2 o'clock range, I find it sits pretty naturally. So again, kind of from there through to around there, depending on where you've got your gain set, is where I think that setting would be best used. And then of course we have that little bit of delay we can blend in. You kind of just hear it there in the background, just filling in the space. So another Mad Professor pedal that has the delay feature built in is the Golden Cello, and it's a similar delay sound in that it's that analog or bucket brigade style device sound. This is what it sounds like. Cranked. Again, there are internal controls that you can adjust to change the time and the intensity of the effect, but here it's preset as a basic kind of sound. So again, fill in that background sound and take over where maybe a more complicated reverb sound would start to come in, and having it built into this pedal like the Bluebird Overdrive that they also do, or the One they also do, which has a reverb. You can kind of tune each pedal for that level of dirt. So you might have 2 or 3 of them with their own delay settings, and that would give you the ability to have a one button sound that you can always go to. It's nice and reliable and easy to turn on and off. So it's still quite a bluesy and dark sound. But the delay adds nice tails to our playing. And because it's that analog style delay, it tends to decay fairly quickly, so it's not going to get in the way of your playing too much. So there you go, nice quick little delay settings you can pull up on that one. Again, I think it's a very versatile feature, it's a very useful feature, and it's pretty well executed. I would love to have another delay pedal sitting here that you can tweak on the fly, but at a gig, you can have all of that preset, you can have the internal settings set, and it becomes a very reliable and quick to use effect. So it's not just an overdrive, it's going to give you that little bit of ambience or that little bit of space to your playing, which allows you to cover more ground. Nice and compact, and because of those settings being internal, those settings are protected. So the sound of the pedal, the low gain sounds are really limited kind of to that 7 to 9 or 10 o'clock point that we looked at earlier. The lower gain doesn't quite have as much treble attack as some of their other pedals do, but once you push into its distorted sound, which is from that 10 through, it gets pretty saturated. So it's going to do that cranked amp, and it's having a really hard time with your guitar playing sound, and I think that makes it a pretty good amp in a box pedal. It's a great set of sounds in a compact pedal. You literally couldn't make this thing any smaller and have the same features, so I think it's definitely a pedal worth checking out. If you're interested in picking one of these up, you can follow the links below. Don't forget to check out our social media where you can find out what's going on at High Point Music, what reviews we've got coming up, what lessons we've got coming up. If you've appreciated the content, give us a like, a share, or a subscribe. If you've got any questions or suggestions, you can drop a comment below. We do appreciate that feedback as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.